Today I'm going to be presenting 3 articles on hearing impairment and accessibility in media design. The first article I'm going to be looking at deals with web accessibility barriers. In this study, Pasquale et al. Sought to determine the impact that web accessibility barriers had on hearing impaired users' mood. These barriers might include video without captions, audio without a transcript, and even complex language. Complex language is significant because if a person becomes deaf around the time of language acquisition, they may struggle with complex vocabulary and syntax later in life. In order to conduct this study, the researchers developed 2 websites, an accessible site and a non-accessible site. The accessible site had video with captions and a sign track, audio with a transcript, and used simple language. The non-accessible site had no accommodations and used complex language. After designing this site, the researchers recruited a group of deaf and hearing impaired users and asked them to complete 5 tasks on both sites. Before and after completing those tasks, they asked them to indicate their mood using the pick a mood faces you see on the right. The researchers' findings showed that accessibility had a strong impact on mood. As you can see in the diagrams in front of you, the non-accessible site led to users feeling sad, bored, irritated, whereas the accessible site led to them feeling excited, cheerful, relaxed, and calm. The second article I'm going to consider deals with a novel approach for overcoming barriers, particularly within the computer science classroom. In this article, Andre et al. Describe the Lamar University signing avatar, which they've developed in order to teach computer science concepts to deaf and hard of hearing students and ASL interpreters. In the article, they lay out their approach to the design process. As they explain, they sought to take a sentence in English syntax, such as "I wrote a Java program," and convert it into ASL syntax, "Me Java program wrote." After that, they used a graphic engine in order to output it as signs produced by the signing avatar. In developing their signing avatar, they essentially had to investigate 3 objectives. First of all, they had to work out how to create a series of gestures for signs corresponding to computer science terms. ASL is lacking signs for a number of key terms, and so they had to invent them. Second of all, they had to work out how to sign a sentence using appropriate ASL syntax. And third, they had to figure out how to test whether the new signs were accurate and realistic when signed by the avatar you see on the screen in front of you. They felt as if their prototype solved all of those 3 problems. In their evaluation, they discovered that deaf students and ASL interpreters had a positive reaction to their signing avatar. Nonetheless, the test group criticized the avatar's facial gestures, its non-manual behavior, and its signing fluency. All of these are key aspects of ASL, and so the researchers are continuing to work on them. The third and final article deals with a project designed to remove communication barriers in the classroom. In the article, Iglesias et al. Explain the Impairment architecture that they've pioneered. The Impairment architecture has 2 distinct components. In the classroom, it provides real-time captioning that converts the teacher's speech into text, and also synthetic speaking that converts students' typed text into sound. Outside the classroom, It provides an accessible web platform that collects all of the digital resources from the classroom. In the article, they seek to present an initial evaluation of Impairment, particularly the real-time captioning and the text-to-speech components. In order to conduct this evaluation, the researchers tested the Impairment architecture in 3 50-minute sessions at both a school and a university. They set up a number of instruments and measures in order to evaluate it. On the quantitative side, they measured the delay in displaying captions and the word error rate. On the qualitative side, they conducted surveys and interviews with the participants. Overall, they discovered the Impairment architecture was largely successful. It was adequate by quantitative measures, and students were largely satisfied with it. The only issue was the delay in the real-time captioning, which took too long and was confusing. I would like to end this presentation with a moment of personal reflection. As we've learned in this program, instructional design is learner-centered. It begins by considering and analyzing the needs of the learners. Accessibility is crucial to meet all learners' needs. On the most basic level, it ensures that they're able to access and understand the information being presented to them. To achieve accessibility, we need to figure out ways of identifying and reducing barriers. And we also need to find ways of providing appropriate accommodations that allow more and more learners to access the material in the course. And for me, it's a personally important issue. My brother happens to be deaf, and I've seen how not having access has affected his learning. So as we design media, it's really important to think about issues of access. Thank you very much.